My name is Pritam and you're watching Tech with Pri. Welcome to my channel and I'm back with another exciting tech video. And this is the 7th video of our newly created technical series called ServiceNow Integrations. So I hope you are excited for this video because in my last video where I've shown you how you can connect from an external application, which is the Postman, with this ServiceNow, right? And I've shown you one of the important authorization framework that we have seen, that is the basic authorization framework, where we have used the username and password to connect with the ServiceNow, right? And each and every steps, like how you can create an account to Postman, and then you can start with testing the API. So each and every steps has been discussed already, and finally we were able to connect with ServiceNow from Postman. Okay, and there was a very important user creation part that I've shown you also, right? How you can create a user that only be used for the web integration or web service accesses, right? So everything I have already discussed in the last video, and I told you that in the next video, which is this video I'm doing right now, so this video would be all about another very important authorization framework that we are going to learn, which is the OAuth 2.0. And that's why I'm excited, because this is one of the important authorization framework that we are going to learn. We would understand each and everything about OAuth 2.0. Practically, I will show you how it works. Okay, then I'll show you how you can use OAuth 2.0, right, authorization framework, so that you can connect with ServiceNow from Postman. So I hope you are ready to learn this thing. So this concept, guys, not only in the perspective of ServiceNow integration, but this OAuth 2.0 security framework is very, very important. So that is something also you are going to learn today, and it would help you in the long run, trust me. Okay, so let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it. So first we would do step by step. We would first understand the OAuth 2.0 kind of a definition and little bit stuff in the PPT. Then we will jump back to the whiteboard and we would understand in detail like how OAuth 2.0 actually works. I'll show you practically, okay, with a real world example, and then we would do the final connection between Postman and ServiceNow, and you would see how ServiceNow is gonna work as a OAuth 2.0 provider. Yes, so ServiceNow will generate access token and give it to Postman so that Postman can use that and connect to ServiceNow. So this is gonna be very, very interesting, and we will learn step by step. Okay, so let's start the video. All right, so OAuth 2.0. So first of all, maybe the question comes up that, okay, Pritam, so it's OAuth 2.0 or 2.0. So where is 1.0? I mean, there was 1.0 or something. I mean, that should be right if it is a 2.0. So definitely, guys. So first of all, let me tell you that OAuth stands for the open authorization. Oh, sorry, open authentication. My bad. So open authentication 2.0. You can also call it like that. Okay. So what is that OAuth? It is an industry standard authorization framework. So most of the industries are using this thing. Okay, so like I was saying in the last video that you used OAuth 2.0 on a regular basis, but you don't know how the backend it is working. So that's something also going to clear, right? So stay with me and let's focus on that. So it is an industry standard authorization framework. That is fine, good. And then there's a kind of a definition. So let's try to see what this is. So it allows third-party application to access your resources, okay, like name, photos, without sharing your actual credential. So what do I mean by that, and what is this all about? Okay, so let's understand that with a practical example. All right, so I'm in my browser. So let me go to any website. I don't know, like so maybe GoDaddy. Okay, so this is a website where you can buy domain name and website. So by the way, this is not a sponsor video or anything, right? I'm just showing you for an example. Okay, so I'll just open this. So this is a homepage of godaddy.com. So if you want to do anything here, like want to purchase or anything, you need to have an account, right? That's what I'm trying to say. To create an account, what we do is that even you can see this thing in your any mobile app nowadays when you download it first time. So you have to register it, right? So nowadays, if you recall it, you don't just type every details like name, email ID and all those stuff, right? Nobody does that. So everyone just get this kind of option. So if I click on sign in here and try to sign in by clicking sign in here, and you can see we usually get this kind of stuff like sign in with Facebook, Google or Apple or any other options are there. So most of the time what we do, we just click on Google icon for an example, and here it asks for your email ID. and you provide the email ID. So here I'm doing it in incognito mode, right? So that's why no email address are coming. But if you open in your normal browser, or maybe from your mobile application where you already logged in with the Gmail account or your Apple account, whatever it is, so it shows that sign in your email account directly. If you have multiple email accounts, so it will show the list of multiple email account which you can use, right? So what is the meaning of this sign in with Google basically? So what you are saying to this application that, okay, so I don't want to write my addresses, so my full name, email ID, all those stuff. So please get it, all those information, get it from my Google database. That's why we sign in with our Google account, and for an example here, GoDaddy or any application that you are using. So those application will get all this information from your Google account. So let me show you quickly. So I'll try to log in with one of my email ID. So I've tried to log in with one of my email ID. Let's see what happens. So I logged in inside of the GoDaddy, but there is supposed to be one screen that you'd get where it asks for that what are the information GoDaddy would be able to access from your Gmail account, right? I have a screenshot of that. I'll show you in the whiteboard in a minute. So that's the confirmation that okay, so once you click on continue or you accept that, then GoDaddy would be able to access your information from your Google account. And that is the reason you have given the Google account, so that GoDaddy gets the information what they need, not every information from your Google account, but the first name, last name, your full name, email ID, and those information. So see, I have logged in with one of my email account, and from there it picks up my name. Okay, that is fine. So already you are familiar with this process. Now one thing has happened here. The thing is that, so GoDaddy is a completely different account than your Google account, right? So to use GoDaddy, you need to register with GoDaddy. So you said connect with Google. You said, okay, I'm going to sign up with Google or sign in with Google, anything like that. So then GoDaddy is asking for the information from the Google server. Okay, like, hey, I need information of that user, that first name, last name, email ID, all this information in my register, so that the user can use it. So Google is giving that after verifying some processes. So that is the thing that we are going to learn. So that are the OAuth 2.0 processes. And then when everything is authorized and it checks everything checked passed, okay, then only GoDaddy can get this information from your Google account. Okay, it works in a process. We see how fast it works, but in backend, this is the OAuth 2.0 process here. Now you can tell me, Preetham, okay, I mean, that's kind of a little bit understanding that we have as of now, but what is the authorization framework here? I mean, how it has been working? So what is the benefit it is giving? Now, suppose there is no OAuth 2.0. So you are signing up for the GoDaddy. So you choose continue with Google. Now you are providing your Google's email ID and password to the GoDaddy directly. Okay, that we didn't do here. We logged in to our Google account. That's a completely different website popped up. We connected with the Google server and we choose our username and we provide the username and password, and then we logged into our Google account, and then GoDaddy asks for the information, and then Google account gives it after getting all the authorization checked, right? That is what happened right now. We didn't give our Google account email ID and password to GoDaddy directly. But if the process was not there, then we have to give the direct username and password or the email ID and password to GoDaddy, and that could become risky, right? GoDaddy could do anything with our email ID and password. So this is not about GoDaddy. So it could be any other website, XYZ website, where you are trying to use, that's maybe a hacker website, you are continuing with Google, and then you're providing your email ID and password. Then come on, it's a security breach, right? You cannot just share your email ID and password. That's a very confidential thing. That is why this authentication method OAuth 2.0 started. So there was a OAuth 1.0 also, but there was a kind of a complex, there was a based on a cryptographic signing or something was that even. So I was not fully aware of that, but that didn't work well. That's why OAuth 2.0 has started. Right now, let's understand the whole process in a whiteboard, and trust me, after the discussion, the confusion of OAuth 2.0 would be completely gone. Okay, and then we are gonna do practical, like connecting from Postman to ServiceNow, right? So as of now, what we understood, so a short recap is like when we try to access GoDaddy, so we click on sign in with Google or sign up with Google, anything like that. So we didn't give the username and password of our Google account to GoDaddy, right? We logged in our account directly to the Google page, right? And then once we provide our email ID and password, because I tried with incognito, again, if you try that, probably you would get your email ID already there. So after that, after we give the permission, then GoDaddy asks the information from the Google server, and Google server provides it after doing the verification. And you are having now, I'm logged in with my Gmail account details here in the GoDaddy. Okay, up to this point I think it's clear. So now it's time to go for the whiteboard. All right, so what we can see in the screen, so there's a few things, 4 things that we need to take in our mind. Okay, very easy things. So first, we will stick with our GoDaddy example. Okay, so we are trying to log in with the GoDaddy. So we are the user here. Resource owner means the user. Okay, so our information is stored in our Google account. So we try to log in with the GoDaddy. Second thing is the third party application who is trying to get our information from our Google account, right? Which is the GoDaddy here. Resource server is the Google resource server, and authorization server is the Google authorization server. Resource server is a place where our name, email ID, and other information are stored in the resource server. Authorization server is a server where it provides the access token or the permissions. Okay, once it is passed from the authorization server, this GoDaddy can ask information about owner's account, my account details from the resource server. So that's the simple concept. Okay, these 4 things we would take our mind, and let's get into the journey quickly. So what we are doing here, so first we are trying to log in with the godaddy.com. okay, that is clear already, and we are trying to sign in here, sign in with Google. And here when we get this page of putting username and password, right, first the email ID and then the password. So what we are doing here, we are trying to connect with the Google authorization server with Google email ID and password. So the moment you click with sign in with Google, this pop-up comes up. So that's nothing. So that's not coming from GoDaddy. It is coming from the Google, right? Because you choose sign in with Google. So Google is asking, okay, so you have choose sign in with me. So you have to provide the email address, like Google account details, right? So again, it's incognito mode I tried. That's why I have to give the email ID and password. But for you, if you try in a normal browser window, you would already able to see your email account here. You can directly choose. Okay. So here we are trying to connect to the authorization server with Google email ID and password. We are saying to Google is asking, okay, first you authenticate yourself. Then this screen is kind of an important one. So I'll just try to make it a little bit more closer. So this is the pop-up that comes, which didn't come before when I was showing. Okay. So for my email ID, this is the email ID I try to log in, and you can see by continuing, Google will share your name, email address, language preference, and profile picture with GoDaddy login. See GoDaddy login's privacy policy and terms of services, but these lines are important. So what it is doing, it is telling that once after putting the password, when it connects with your Gmail account, then Google asks that, okay, now you're sure, right, that I'm going to share this information like your name, email address, language preference, profile picture, all this information with GoDaddy. Are you okay with that? And you said like, okay, continue. So this is called also consent screen. Okay, what information GoDaddy will access, that is clear to you, right? The moment you click on continue, now GoDaddy, so you've given the permission, now GoDaddy receives, it gets back to the authorization server, and from authorization server, GoDaddy received a authorization code. You could say it's like an OTP, some temporary authorization code that, okay, so you are authorized. Google is telling to GoDaddy, okay, you are authorized to get this information from this user. So now GoDaddy authorization received. Now if I scroll down, then what GoDaddy does, okay, the moment GoDaddy receives the authorization, GoDaddy asks for the access token, because this access token is the thing, guys, by which GoDaddy can actually get the information of my email account, like name, email address, all this information. They need an access token. So with the authorization code, it is important. Without that, GoDaddy cannot get the access token. So GoDaddy asks for the access token to where? To the authorization server. And from there, Google authorization server gives the access token and a refresh token as well. We would understand about the refresh token later in this video, but first of all, it receives the access token, and then if I move further, GoDaddy connects to Google's resource server. So I told you at the beginning, resource server is a server where the information is actually stored. So if I just go back quickly here, you can see resource server is a Google server where your actually name, image, profile picture, email ID, all this information stores. So after getting the access token only, GoDaddy can ask this information. Okay, and then once the GoDaddy connects to the resource server and resource server checks the access token, so it's fine. You can access this GoDaddy page. So this is the whole process that was there in the backend that happens within fraction of seconds. And this whole technique is the OAuth 2.0 flow, you could say. So in the whole process, I have never given my email ID and password inside of the GoDaddy anywhere. Okay, without giving the email ID and password of my Google account, GoDaddy can access my name, my email ID, my profile picture, all of this information, right? Without providing my username and password. That's why it is the secure method, and that's why it is the one of the most industrial standardized method. Okay, now next time when you will click on sign in with Google, sign in with Apple or anything like that, you know that what is happening in the backend. So again, authorization server is responsible for providing the access token, okay, and resource server is where your information gets stored. Now it's time to jump back to the Postman and ServiceNow, because we are going to connect with ServiceNow with the help of OAuth 2.0. Alright, so you can see in my screen, so this is a Postman environment. So in the last video I've already shown you how you can create a new workspace and set up all this thing quickly. And so these are ServiceNow integration, the last one that we did. So if I click on new collection, so this is what we were able to create. The incident from network group, right? Okay, the URL has been lost. So I'll quickly again do that. So I'll go back to my ServiceNow. Let me open the REST API Explorer. So we're gonna get the same record again, but this time with the help of the OAuth 2.0. Okay, so I think it was the so let's open the incident. Yeah, exactly. So this is the same thing. So we are trying to get the incident where priority is 1 and assigned to the network group. Okay, so I'll go back to the REST API Explorer. I'll choose here incident. Then I will just put the query here. So here fields I'm gonna need quickly. I'll just type number. Then we need the short description. Okay, maybe category, assignment group, then assigned to, right? Also maybe the priority. Okay, so last time we didn't take the priority, but that's fine. So priority, here we go. Let's put priority a little bit here. Fine. I'm gonna click on save. Limit should be more than 1. Let's put 10. So if I now click on send here, and you can see the connection is okay and I'm able to get 2 incident here, right? So again I'll just copy this and I'll just go back to the Postman. So here I can paste it, right? So what we did last time in the authentication, we choose basic authentication, okay, and we provide the username and password. First I shown you directly putting the admin username and password, and which was wrong, I told you. Later I have shown also like how you can create a user and give only specific web access role, web service role, so that that specific user won't be able to log in within ServiceNow platform normally, right? So and we were able to connect it, right? So that was the basic authentication method. So you see, that is, I mean, how it is different to OAuth 2.0. So whatever discussion that we have done. So in the last video, in the Postman, which is an external application, we were putting the directly username and password of the user, right, inside of the Postman. Although those user was only used for the web access purpose, but again, that's not fully secure, okay? But this OAuth 2.0 is a fully secure, because we are not gonna put any kind of username and password here. We would directly choose the authentication type from here as the OAuth 2.0. Okay, that's the one we are gonna do. So right now we don't have any token, so we are gonna get token actually. So what we are gonna do, basically, let's understand the concept. So from Postman, we are gonna connect with ServiceNow. Okay, as per the whiteboard, here ServiceNow is the resource server and ServiceNow is also the authorization server, like it was Google for our GoDaddy and Gmail, right? So now to connect Postman with ServiceNow resource server, a quick setup that we need to do inside of this ServiceNow, so that ServiceNow can understand this request is coming from Postman. Okay, so what we need to do, That is very important step. So whenever you will configure some inbound REST integration with the help of OAuth 2.0, you definitely need to do that inside of the ServiceNow. So let's see that. So this is my ServiceNow. So I'm gonna go to the application registry. So we have to register the application first. The application is here, Postman. So Postman is the external application. We have to register inside of the application registry. So application registry under the system OAuth. So I'm going to click on that and it will open the application registry. So there are by default already stuffs are there. I'm going to click on new. So we have to register our Postman. So here we have different options. We are going to choose the create an OAuth API endpoint for external clients. So here external client is the Postman is the external client, and we are creating an API endpoint for the Postman because Postman is going to request to the ServiceNow for the access token. So I'm going to click that, and very simple thing what you need to do is that you need to provide a name basically. So I'm going to provide Postman here. You could give any name. So this is a very important thing called client ID. So this is we are going to need to authenticate from ServiceNow to Postman. Okay, and this client secret will automatically generate. So I'm going to click on save for the time being. We need to add one more information, but that I will tell you later. So you can see client secret is already generated. That is a secret key. So this is this client ID and client secret. You could say kind of a username and password that Postman requires to connect with ServiceNow. You could say that, right? That is why we created a new application registry for Postman, so that this information can Postman use and ServiceNow understand, okay, so this is coming from a registered external client, which is here is Postman. Okay, so we would understand about this lifespan stuff in a minute, but first of all we have created this information. Now I will go back to the Postman, and in the OAuth details, if I scroll down here, first of all you need to give a token name. So here I'll type ServiceNow developer instance. So that's where I'm trying to connect. Just for your understanding, I'm given this. So grant type, here we could do password credential as well. In the OAuth, it supports password also. So here in the password, I can also give the username and password of the ServiceNow or any particular user, and then the client ID and the client secret. That is also we can do, but we just want to avoid that providing password stuff. Okay, so we are not going to use that. We are going to we are going to do it with the help of authorization code. Okay, and this authorization code with PKCE, this is also important. This adds one more extra layer, but we can stay with authorization code as well. Now the callback URL. So this is very important, and you can see this is a field which we can't edit. The callback URL cannot be modified when authenticating via the browser, so you cannot change it. So what we are going to do, we are going to copy this callback URL. Now what is the callback URL? We will understand it, but the first I'll just copy the URL, callback URL from here, and I'll go back here and I'll put the redirect URL here. Just paste it here. I'll tell you what does it, why I did this step, and I'm going to save it. So our application registry is ready. We have the redirect URL and callback URL. Again, I'll tell you quickly. Then the auth URL. Okay, now this auth URL is that where ServiceNow will do the authentication. You can see this endpoint for authorization server. Now what is that? You can see this is the endpoint for authorization server. This is used to get the authorization code. So that's the code that we need, right? So if I just go back, if I go back to the board, you can see after providing the username and password to the Google account, so first successfully done, it receives the authorization code that we require, right? We need first the authorization code to get the access token. So that's the first thing. So I'll again go back. So here I need to provide where this Postman will go for the authorization, in which URL. It will go to a ServiceNow. So I'll just go back here. I'll copy the URL here. So after .com, I mean up to .com, I'll copy that. I'll paste it here, and next here we need to write OAuth_auth.to. Okay, so that's the ServiceNow authentication URL. That is same for every instance. So first you need to provide the instance name and then /OAuth/OAuth.to. So when we will request for the access token, here first it will go to the authorization URL, and here from this address, actually once it's verified that it's your account, like it verifies with Google account, like with email ID and password. So when we will redirect to this URL, it will verify that it is your ServiceNow account or not. If it once it is verified successfully, it will give the access token and And very important, once it's verified successfully, it gives the access token, and then where it will redirect? You need to redirect to Postman, right? From the Postman only, again we will ask for the access token to the ServiceNow, right? So where we will redirect, that URL is mentioned here. That is the callback URL. So once you reach to authorization server to the ServiceNow and you provide your ServiceNow email ID and password in the ServiceNow, not in the Postman, okay? Same like what we did for Google account login. And then where it will come back? It will come back to this URL. That's why it is the callback URL. Why I copied this same information here? You can see here I also did the same thing. So that is the redirect URL. So ServiceNow also needs to know that, okay, fine, when an external application is coming to me and asking for the authorization code, once I verify and give the authorization code, I also need to know where it should redirect, so that any kind of hacking or all those stuff cannot take place. That's why ServiceNow also needs to know this redirect URL. So that's the same URL you need to provide. So it is going back to the Postman after providing the authorization server. So that is the first part. So after we receive the authorization code, after Postman receives the authorization code from ServiceNow authorization server, what happens? So I'll go back here and you can see authorization code received, request for access token. So we are gonna request, Postman is gonna request for access token to the authorization server again. Without the authorization code, it is not possible. Now Postman will ask for the access token. Again, we have a default address for access token for ServiceNow. So I'm gonna copy the instance name first. It's very easy to remember actually. So then slash, and then we have OAuth underscore token dot to. That's it. So previously for the authorized code, it goes for OAuth underscore auth dot do. Here for token, it goes to OAuth underscore token. So underscore token and underscore auth. For access token, underscore token. For auth, underscore auth. That's it. Very simple. Then the client ID and client secret. Very, very important. So we will just copy the client ID from here and we are going to paste it here. And same way we would do the client secret. So client secret you cannot copy directly like this. First you have to unlock this, and this is the client secret. So I'm gonna copy it. I'll come back here and put the client secret. Okay. Alright, so you have provided the client secret and client stuff. No need for scope, and state is something that you can provide actually any value. So I'm just type state. So you need to provide anything, any name. So it's just for the verify. When Postman sends the request to ServiceNow, so they check the state is same or not. So that whatever value you will provide here, if you are connecting with the right application, then the application will return the same value. So this is a kind of concept of state. So nothing need to be worried about. So send as base auth header, we are providing in the authorization header. Then in the advanced section, we don't need to do anything. So we can just skip that advanced section. And then we can ask for the create new access token. So once I click that, first it would redirect to the authorization server. It will ask that, okay, you have to authorize first. You have to authorize yourself first. Okay. So what I'm going to do is that for this example, so if I click on get new access token, let's see what happens. So immediately I redirect to the ServiceNow. This is the instance to the OAuth login page. So you can see it is asking me for the username password. So it's the same thing, right? When we ask for sign in with Google, it was opening the Google, asking for the Google email ID and password. So it wants to verify you. Before providing the authorization code, it needs to be verified, right? This is your account. So I'll go back to my ServiceNow, and from here I will just copy the I'll just copy the password because the username is admin. So I'll do that quickly. So this is a screen again. So I'm going to type admin. So this is the same thing I'm doing, like signing in Google account, same thing. So I'll put the password here and I'm going to click on login. So same as we did for the Google account. So once I click on login, ServiceNow first will verify my username and password. And already ServiceNow is going to provide the authentication ID to the Postman. You can see Postman would like to connect to your ServiceNow account on instance Dave 257376. So that's my instance, right? Dave 257376, right? Perfectly. So we created this thing, guys. This authorization server we created inside of ServiceNow by configuring that URL, endpoint URL. So I'm going to click on allow. In the meantime, before I'm doing allow, let's see what's happening in the Postman. You can see authenticate via browser. So it is waiting. Okay. So once the authentication is finished, it will automatically get the access token. As we waited for a long time, it got cancelled. So again, I'm going to close it. I'm going to ask for a new access token again because I already logged in. So it is asking for a confirmation. So the moment I click on allow, you can see collecting access token. Now you can see this is the token details we have received. This is the access token we received from this ServiceNow, and this is the refresh token. I'll tell you about refresh token in a minute, but that's what we wanted to do. Token type is bearer, because whenever you get access token, token type is always bearer token, bearer. Okay. So the moment I click on use token, and you see if I scroll up here, the token which was blank in the beginning. So now it is the ServiceNow developer instance. That's the token name. So this is the access token. It directly gets the access token. Okay. We have successfully done that. Now the same query, right? So what happens? Again, the ServiceNow authorization server, it says, okay, so provide me all other information. It provides the auth code, client ID, client secret, and then ServiceNow says, okay, ServiceNow authorization server says, okay, here you go. This is your access token, and now you can access our ServiceNow instance. So you get the access token automatically. You can put the token manually as well. So now if I click on send, and you see the connection is okay. Okay, I need to just, yeah, like that. So I get 2 incident directly from the ServiceNow with the help of OAuth. Isn't it cool, guys? Isn't it cool? So what is the refresh token? The moment if I click on again the access token, and if I click on allow, we would get the same access token here again, because that access token is valid for some times. So if I just go back here quickly, you can see where we configured the Postman here. So this is the lifespan of the access token. So this is kind of a 1800, I believe it is a second. So for next half an hour, it will give the same access token. Now what is the refresh token? So here I have get a refresh token as well. So refresh token means whenever after half an hour, when the access token will expire, Postman will automatically connects with a refresh token to get a new access token. So refresh token is there so that once the access token lifespan is expired, next time what Postman will do, Postman will connect with the refresh token and get a new access token. And again, the connection will be stable in the backend. That's why once you log in to GoDaddy with Google account and you stay maybe for an hour or 2 hours, also the access token gets expired, same way like it happens in the ServiceNow, but it never asks you to re-log in again, right? Because it used the refresh token to again get a new access token, and your connection always gets stable. Okay, so you see how with the help of OAuth 2.0 we are able to connect from Postman to ServiceNow. Each and every steps, I believe it's clear to you. I want you to practice these steps. By watching this video won't help you, trust me. Sit with your pen and paper, make a notes from that whiteboard also, if that helps you, and ask me question if you have, and follow step-by-step procedure, and you would be able to success it. Okay, I hope it clears the concept, guys. If you find this video helpful, please thumbs up and let me know in the comment section if you have any doubt or anything, right? And also share this video with your friends and family so that it can reach out to many people. Okay, see you in my next integration video. There's something coming for the members very soon. Okay, so bye bye, take care.